Did you hear anything about who found him, how he was found, or the 911 call or anything like that?
Yes.
Yeah?
And I can't talk about it.
Yeah. Here to get to the bottom of it, though, it sounds like.
We pretty much know what's going on, but, you know, all we want to do is just talk about the man, the musician.
What message do you have to Prince fans?
Just keep saying prayers for everyone, for the family. Yeah.
There was no sign of this. This is just...
You know, everyone gets sick once in a while. We don't know.
Sheila E. was the last person Prince confided in, and now people are saying she's finally revealing what Prince had been trying to warn us about, and why Diddy didn't want him around to speak up.
First Diddy party I went to was at Prince's house. So you want to go to Prince's house to the Diddy party where Tyrese is performing and Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher are swinging on swings. That is what's happening on the other side of the wall. And so the one thing that makes this party different than a Jamie Foxx party or any other celebrity party that wrangles a bunch of young women or guys or whatever too, is that Diddy didn't let you bring...
Some fans think Prince was preparing to reveal something much deeper and darker. Not just about owning music, but about the way people are used, controlled, and possibly even involved in strange rituals in the entertainment industry. And now, Diddy's name is once again being mentioned in these same conversations. Is it just a coincidence? Maybe. But now, after staying quiet for years, Sheila E. is reportedly speaking out, and what she's saying is unsettling. She's said to be revealing that Prince was trying to protect people from something serious, and that he carried a weight most of us couldn't understand. To give a bit of context, Sheila E. met Prince back in 1977 at a concert where she was performing with her dad. Then in early 1984, she signed with Warner Brothers Records and started working on her first solo album, The Glamorous Life, with Prince. He co-wrote and played on the hit title track. Sheila E. also opened for Prince during his legendary Purple Rain tour in 1984 and 1985. Not long after that, she joined Prince's own record label, Paisley Park Records. She was also the musical director for his Sign of the Times and Love Sexy tours. On top of that, she worked with him on several tracks and albums during the 80s. She even appeared in his concert film Sign of the Times, performed with him at the Brit Awards, and toured with him again in mid-2007. But here's where things take a more personal turn. Besides making some of the most memorable music together, Sheila E. and Prince shared something much deeper. Fans still talk about it today. During one live performance, Prince looked across the stage at her, locked eyes, and mouthed the words, "Marry me." It wasn't planned or part of the show, it was real. Reports say they were even briefly engaged, but they never ended up getting married.
You know, you were in a relationship with Prince. He even proposed to you. How did he do it?
It was during the Sign of the Times tour, and there are many songs that were like really emotional to me when we played, and Purple Rain was one of them. So playing that song and playing drums, I just love playing that song. And next thing I know, he's taking his solo, and as I open my eyes, he was turning at the same time that I opened my eyes, and he's taking his solo, and he turns to me, and he said, "Will you marry me?"
There were reports that Sheila E. and Prince hadn't spoken for about 5 years before he passed away in 2016. That distance was said to be because of her autobiography, The Beat of My Own Drum, which shared personal details about their relationship. But what if that's not entirely true? According to people close to them, they actually reconnected near the end of Prince's life. And during that time, Prince is said to have shared a lot with Sheila E. Not just about the music world, but also some shocking claims involving Diddy. Now, here's where it gets serious. We all know Prince never held back when it came to calling out powerful forces in the industry. He talked about people who controlled the narrative, owned artists, and silenced them. Was Diddy one of those people? From what's being said, yeah, looks like it. Prince was always clear about his stance. He fought hard for artists to get paid fairly and to keep ownership of their music. That was something he never stopped speaking up about.
December 31st, 1999. My publishing contract with Warner Chappell expired, thus emancipating the name I was given before birth, Prince, from all long-term restrictive documents.
I had searched deep within my heart and spirit, and I wanted to make a change and move to a new plateau in my life. And one of the ways in which I did that was to change my name. It sort of divorced me from the past and all the hang-ups that go along with it, as it's been well chronicled in deep dispute with my record label.
Which is Warner Brothers, right?
Yeah. we had some issues that were basically about ownership of the music and how often I was supposed to record and things like that. I really searched deep within to find out the answer to whether fame was most important to me or my spiritual well-being, and I chose the latter.
Prince signed with Warner Music in 1977 when he was only 18. Although the albums he put out between 1978 and 1981 didn't perform that well, the label kept him around because they saw him as a serious artist who made Warner look good. Back then, Warner seemed to care about supporting long-term talent. In 1982, a year after MTV launched, Prince released new music that finally broke into the US top 10. He became one of the first artists to really understand how music videos could shape an artist's image and story, helping him stand out and build his own legend. As he continued to rise in the music world, Prince eventually launched his own label, Paisley Park Records. It was partly funded by Warner and distributed through them. But even with his own label, Prince had already started pointing out how Warner was underpaying him and taking advantage of his work.
Not your game. You didn't make the rules, so everything comes hard. And as long as you're signed to a contract, you're going to take a minority share of the winnings. A select few of us will do well. The majority will not. So as a people, we'll be considered a minority. But stop. Let's take a moment and look at yourselves. There's nothing minor about you. You are a blessed people. You're the most talented on earth, and you are still grateful. That is why upon winning in their game, you always thank God. Tonight, I would like to ask one favor of you. Imagine what we'll all be like in our own game. Peace and love for one another.
Yes, we're talking about the same Warner Brothers that was also backing Diddy. He had a deal with them that gave Warner a 50% share in his label, Bad Boy Records. Under that agreement, Warner handled both digital and physical distribution for Bad Boy's releases around the world. The label featured artists like Maze, Mario Winans, the Notorious B.I.G., and Diddy himself. Diddy once commented on the deal, saying, "There have been a lot of boutique record labels that come and go, and we are still here." He said the partnership gave them the right financial support and structure to stay strong in the industry. But here's the thing. The way Warner treated Prince and other artists was very similar to how Diddy treated the artists on his own label. Take Lil Jerome, for example. When asked if leaving the label was his decision, he said it was more about the stress and pressure of the business. He even had a nervous breakdown. And it was apparently Diddy's call to drop the project. Jerome had 13 songs ready before things fell apart, but Diddy didn't seem to care. They just dropped him. Carl Thomas shared a similar experience. He said that after his brother passed away, Diddy called him just a week later asking when he'd be back in the studio because he had new songs ready. No time to grieve, just business. Then there's Biggie. According to Diddy's former bodyguard Gene Deal, Biggie was planning to leave Bad Boy for a better deal. But after his death, Diddy allegedly pushed the team to focus on marketing Biggie's album Life After Death, like it was all about hitting #1. There was no sign of mourning, just obsession with chart rankings. Before Diddy got hit with any lawsuits, he started trending again after announcing he would give publishing rights back to artists on Bad Boy, including former ones. Aubrey O'Day said she was already sent the terms months earlier. Around the same time, other artists got calls about reclaiming their music rights too. But of course, there was a catch.
So basically, we only get the amounts due since Sony bought our catalog.
Okay.
So streaming for the past couple years, it's about $800, $900, some in the hundreds, okay? And in order to get that, I have to release him for any claims or wrongdoings or actions prior to the date of the release. I have to sign an NDA that I will never disparage Puff, Bad Boy, Janice Combs, or Justin Combs' music or EMI.
Basically, Diddy's sudden decision to return publishing rights wasn't just some generous move. It looked more like damage control, a way to silence former artists, regain control of the narrative, and keep people quiet. And reportedly, Prince saw all of this years before it ever became public. If Prince really shared any of what he knew with Sheila E., it explains why she's only now starting to speak, because the story Prince carried, the one he died with, might finally be catching up to those he warned about. Sheila E. has mentioned more than once that Prince had a clear view of how the music industry really worked. He talked about exploitation, how labels robbed artists of ownership, and how the system would drain someone's soul and then toss them away. He famously compared the industry to modern-day slavery and accused record labels of stealing legacies. While Sheila E. has mostly kept things respectful since Prince's passing, over the years she started dropping little hints, little truths in between the lines. She said Prince carried a weight, a burden, that most people never saw, and close friends say he shared a lot with her, not just about his personal pain, but about what he believed was coming for the industry. He wasn't just trying to win his masters back. He was trying to break the whole machine apart, and what he said is starting to sound less like opinion and more like warning, especially now, with Diddy's legal controversies and past business tactics being brought under the spotlight. Some people are starting to believe Prince saw all of this coming. It's even more disturbing when you look at Prince's final days. A few days before he died, he posted a cryptic photo of himself with a now-deleted caption, "Just when you thought you were safe." Then at his last public event at Paisley Park, just after he'd reportedly received treatment for flu-like symptoms, he told guests, "Wait a few days before you waste any prayers." Days later, Prince was found dead in his home. Officials ruled it an accidental fentanyl overdose, caused by counterfeit Vicodin pills laced with the powerful opioid. But even Sheila E. said it never added up. Not with what Prince knew, not with what he warned about.
There are reports that say that the landing last week was a treatment for some sort of drug overdose, whether prescription or illicit. Did you ever have any signs of drug use? Did you ever see any signs of drug use with him lately that would end up in something like this?
So we ask again, was Prince's death really just a tragic end to a legendary life? Or was there something darker lurking behind the scenes? Is Sheila E. slowly preparing to share what Prince confided in her? And just how far does the rabbit hole go when it comes to Diddy and the industry machine? Let me know what you think in the comments. Are we piecing together a puzzle that was never meant to be solved? Or is the truth hiding right in front of us, waiting to be seen?